Letitia James, she got booed by several New York firefighters in a promotional ceremony for some of their members, right? Now, there are new details that are coming to light about how this is affecting the firefighters and their right for their First Amendment rights, and not to mention the political climate that's surrounding former President Donald Trump. Now, you got Staten Island lawyers, Mark Fonte, Louis Gerlamino. They have thrown their hats into the ring, offering free pro bono legal representation to any Big Apple firefighters that are facing disciplinary actions for expressing their opinions during the ceremony, right? So they want to ban TikTok, they want to ban the TikTok app, and now they want to take away your First Amendment right of free speech, huh? Right? But now a top FDNY chief is taking the fall over a Post report exposing how Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh has planned to hunt down firefighters and other staffers. Now, I got some real shocking information that I want to share with you guys, including a clip that I want to share with you in just a moment. But before we get to it, all I ask of you guys is that you take a second, drop a quick like for the video, hit the like button. I really appreciate you guys so much for your support. You have no idea. And when you share this video, when you share and like this video, it really does help to get the truth out. So, anyway, I can't express my appreciation for you guys enough. So I just want to thank you so much for that. Anyway, but now just a quick couple of updates that I wanted to ask you guys are aware of. Are you aware that President Biden's campaign just slammed Donald Trump over political violence of a warning of a bloodbath when discussing the auto industry? So the Biden-Harris campaign basically accused former President Donald Trump of threatening political violence after, Trump, while speaking about the auto industry in a rally that took place in Ohio, suggesting that there will be a bloodbath if he doesn't win this upcoming election in November. Did you guys hear about that? Anyway, so Trump made the remark during a campaign event near the Dayton, Ohio, just yesterday. Well, technically it's like Monday now, but anyway, as he was talking about China and how they think that they're going to be selling cars manufactured in Mexico to the U.S. with no tax at the border. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys because a lot of that's getting taken out of context. You know how it goes. But I also wanted to share my thoughts and prayers going out to those who were affected by the Jacksonville Beach Bar District shooting in Florida that took place earlier today. So multiple suspects were still on the loose earlier today as police warned of an active shooter situation in the downtown area of Jacksonville, Florida. So the Jacksonville Beach, police department, and this is during spring break, guys. So the Jacksonville Police Department basically said, they're warning that there's an active shooter situation that they're working on in the downtown area, and they're asking everyone to shelter in place at the time. So if you know anyone in Florida, if you know anybody in Florida, if you live in Florida, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you knew about this. I just hope everyone's okay out there. And I hate to break it to you guys, but it appears that the rumors about Dave Chappelle getting like a $2 billion deal with CBS, they don't appear to be true. So Dave Chappelle, he's been one of the most discussed topics as of recently, right? But there have been some reports of CBS reaching a $2 billion deal or agreement with Dave Chappelle to do some kind of a new show. But if you look at how CBS's parent company was willing to sell BET and VH1 together for like $2.5 billion, then the numbers don't really add up. So, also, if you look at where the source of this information came from, it looks like it was from a satire website or something like that. So anyway, the source of where this information came from pretty much tells you everything. If you look at the main page of the post, it looks like that basically, I don't believe that this is legitimate. I wanted to kind of clear the air. But Chief of Department John Hodgins, he backed off of his prior internal announcement saying that there was not and is not an investigation into the members that were booing. But really, what about AG Attorney General Letitia James herself, right? I mean, extravagant expenditures have also now come under scrutiny recently amidst her high profile prosecution of Donald Trump for business fraud. With over $28,000 spent on luxury hotels and over $100,000 on upscale meals and catering, the American people are definitely asking questions about the optics and how this looks. And of course, ethics, the ethics of such type of spending by a public official prosecuting a major political figure like Donald Trump. Like, I mean, she even vowed to seize some of Donald Trump's most prized New York properties if he failed to pay the $355 million judgment, which has ultimately ballooned to like over $450 million at this point, including his sons. Now, this move has literally sparked outrage from Donald Trump himself, from truckers that now have said that they want to boycott New York City. Everyone is in outrage over this, right? And it's not just the truckers boycotting New York City. But this move has literally sparked outrage from Trump, who labeled Letitia James as a communist intent on destroying New York State. Not to mention, there's a lot of criticism as well coming from other people, multimillionaires and business owners like Kevin O'Leary, like Grant Cardone. So Kevin O'Leary, he said, he won't be pouring any money into loser New York after the ruling against Donald Trump. Now, today is a different story ever since this ruling, right? But here's the thing. I want you to hear it for yourself. I want you to hear from First Amendment attorney Mark Randazza. So he's saying that New York City firefighters have had every right to boo Letitia James during this promotional ceremony. You guys, tell me what you think about this.
So, do you think that if they take action against the firefighters, that they would actually have a First Amendment claim that they are allowed to yell and scream at an event?
I dare them. Absolutely, they'd have a First Amendment right to yell and scream at the event. Look, their complaint is you don't have a right to take this event and make it political. The organizers made it political. What's Letitia James doing there but a political stunt? This is open to the public. Yeah, there are guys in uniform there. There are regular civilians there. Everyone has a right to express themselves at that moment. Booing a politician, if you can't do that as an American, then what it is to be an American has been redefined in some way that I don't recognize anymore.
So from your perspective,
wow,
FDNY event.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, like, you can't just she turned it political. I mean, like I said, normally you'd have the mayor of New York, you'd have Mayor Eric Adams there. Previously, you would have had Bill de Blasio, but you have Letitia James here. Why? Now, keep in mind, this didn't disrupt the event. They booed a politician trying to use them as props. This is basically what happened. Their plan backfired. It blew up in their faces. Letitia James made a fool out of herself by coming into this house of God, as she called it, and expected a warm, welcoming ceremony. And it didn't, unfortunately for her, it didn't pan out as expected. But, you should have checked the temperature in the room. Do they even want you there? I mean, like, I've read some of the comments about this. Some of the comments from you guys, they're saying that these firefighters, they really didn't disrupt this event. Rather, they booed a politician that was trying to use them as props. This was a politician that was trying to leverage the fire department, the FDNY, and it didn't work out. It literally exploded in their face. But what do you guys think about this? Now, either way, a lot of people are standing up for the firefighters right now. And comment down below if you stand up for firefighters. Let me know if you guys support the firefighters. Let me know if you support the truckers that are boycotting New York. Now, a pair of Staten Island lawyers recently offered to represent any Big Apple firefighters for free if they get jammed up for booing Letitia James. Now, these lawyers, you got Mark Fonte, you got Louis Gerlamino. They basically said that the firefighters had the right to voice their support for Donald Trump and to lambast James, who has been prosecuting him. And they said that, they stand ready to assist New York's bravest and that if they're being hunted down by FDNY brass for exercising their freedom of speech, contact their office at once. So that's definitely what's up. Now it looks like they agree with what a lot of people are saying, that Letitia James is abusing her power now with the firefighters, not just with Donald Trump, but she's abusing her powers with the firefighters. This is what people are saying. Do you agree with that? Do you guys think that Letitia James is abusing her power? Just let me know what you guys are thinking about that. Now, Union President Andrew Ansbro, he also urged any firefighter who gets in the hot water over this incident to keep their mouth shut, mum's the word, and reach out to the union representatives to represent them, right? He promised that the union will strongly defend any of their members who face discipline. So this thing ain't going over so well. And a lot of backtracking's taking place, right? And I kind of looked into it. So Fonte and Gerlamino, they're pretty anti-establishment. So their firm has already sued the city over its COVID mandates and the location of some migrant shelters, right? You know about the whole migrant situation taking place right now in the sanctuary city in New York City. Oh, they're getting overrun. So they've sued over the placement of these migrant shelters, and this time they're rushing to the defense of the firefighters who booed James during this promotion ceremony. So according to Fonte, if they have a right to applaud, well, it only makes sense that they also have a right to boo or express their displeasure, right? I mean, there's two sides to every coin here. And they make a very good point. They also said that if you invite a controversial figure to speak, you got to expect some pushback. So someone didn't do their homework, or they thought they were just going to leverage these firefighters and they're just going to have to roll over and act like we're living in some communist country and just do what we're told. I'm sorry, but we live in America. So anyway, they were trying to say that the people Fonte and Mark, these attorneys that are offering the free legal services for the firefighters, they actually said that the people who are at fault are the FDNY brass, who are greatly out of touch with their workers. And this is the same FDNY brass that supposedly deployed the department's Bureau of Investigation and Trials to track down the offenders by combing through video footage of the event, and has said that firefighters who crossed the line could face discipline. Yeah. Now, after all of this outrage, the FDNY officials decided to kind of backtrack, and instead they're saying that they're having ongoing conversations with their members about decorum during the department events to ensure that they're upholding the core values that make the FDNY the greatest fire department in the world, right? But it definitely feels like they're covering up their what. It definitely feels like they're covering up their what after all of this public outcry and negative publicity, right? It wasn't a good look for them. You can't just go power tripping on people, right? In fact, they let one of their top FDNY chiefs take the fall for this one. I mean, you got to have a fall guy, right? So the top FDNY chief, he ended up taking the fall. He had to lay on the grenade on this one. In an email to battalion chiefs, the chief of department, John Hodgins, he backed off his prior internal announcement, admitting his use of the term hunt was a poor choice of words, right? So evidently, hunt was not a good choice of words. My bad is what he's saying, basically, right? So he then reiterated the company line that, that there was not and is not an investigation into members booing. So they're really trying to back away from this thing, right? But you know what? When they say that there's no investigation, it makes me ask, why do they even have to clarify that if there really wasn't an investigation? You know what I'm saying? I think that there was an investigation. So the White Knuckler, appreciate you so much. Thank you for loving the content, and thank you so much for the massive super chat. I really do appreciate you, man. So basically, they're trying to cover something up, and I think they're just trying to cover up the investigation in the first place. You know what I mean? But now, to recall, Hodges he was the one that actually sent the email earlier saying that he was told by the commissioner that it would be better for the booing firefighters if they came forward and don't have to hunt them down. Now, elected officials, union leaders, and civil rights lawyers immediately ripped the directive as something that's seen in communist China, and that it would be unconstitutional and it will violate free speech laws. So, yeah. So anyway, so Pam Bondi, a former special advisor to ex-President Donald Trump, went ahead and sent Mr. Kavanaugh, or excuse me, Miss Kavanaugh, a letter demanding that she end the political witch hunt. So Councilwoman Joanne Ariola, love her last name, who chairs the Committee on Fire and Emergency Management, she said that she believes the FDNY pulled back on the investigation because basically the FDNY leaders are now embarrassed over this whole outcry situation, right? And she said that the FDNY shouldn't be in the business of shielding politicians from criticism. And she went as far as to say that the statement could never or should never have actually been made in the first place. And, you know, I mean, so who was it? Kay Scott says it's unreal. What is this? Soviet Union 1917? Exactly, right? Now, some analysts pointed out how if you zoom out, you could see how this is a matter of Letitia James just kind of getting her feelings hurt, getting a little butt hurt, and now she's out for revenge. Now, for them, they're saying that she should be removed. Do you guys think that she should be removed? Y'all let me know what you think on that one. Now, in fact, we're gonna look a little closer into Letitia James, and there's some things I want to share with you guys, right? So get this, right? There is let's just say there's some talk about Letitia James, right? And she's obviously been in the spotlight lately, you know, mainly because she's been going after former President Donald Trump for his business fraud. And yeah, so this has definitely won her a lot of fans and it has won her a lot of attention. All right. And maybe it's also won her some not so fans kind of people, right? Anyway, she's been pretty good at fundraising. She's been pretty good at getting money raised for her campaigns, right? And, you know, thanks to a little bit of detective work by a Twitter user, we've actually seen how she's been using that money in some pretty interesting ways. In 2023 alone, she spent a cool $28,500 on hotels, including some luxury joints in Puerto Rico. And if we look way back to 2018, that hotel tab adds up to nearly $120,000 altogether. And she's also not shy about where she dines, dropping over 100 grand on meals and, you know, catering, ranging from fancy steakhouses to Dave and Buster's. I mean, I don't know what she's into eating. I don't know if she's, you know, a vegan. I don't know if she's into, you know, just maybe everything. But I'm pretty sure there's some surf and turf in there, some filet mignon, some, you know, crab legs left and right. I mean, to get to $100,000 on meals and catering, you got to be ordering some pretty expensive stuff. You know, maybe some top shelf wine and whatnot. Anyway, so let's not forget about the big bucks she spent at Target, BJ's Wholesale, and even an NYC nightclub. Thousands upon thousands of dollars, all filed under office expenses. So I don't even know. So, but of course, you know, if anybody takes a look, I'm pretty sure all of these expenses are all above board. I mean, like Letitia James, she's been in the game for a long time, and most likely she knows exactly where to draw the line on what's legal and what's not legal. So I'm pretty sure everything she's spending money on is above board. You know, I mean, but I think you guys can agree with me. Legal doesn't always mean necessarily moral for a lot of people, right? I mean, she does seem to be living it up on campaign cash, which isn't exactly a new thing for politicians in the US. But I mean, really, it wouldn't be such a talking point if Letitia James hadn't been positioning herself as sort of a moral compass, so to speak, for in American politics. This kind of makes her spending spree, including the $4,000 at a place called Nathan's Luxury Lifestyle on Martha's Vineyard, kind of makes it look a little iffy. You know what I mean? I don't know. Have you guys ever been to Martha's Vineyard? I haven't. I'd like to check it out though one day. But if you have checked out Martha's Vineyard, let me know if it's worth going to. And she wasn't exactly shy about telling the world how she wants to seize Donald Trump's assets, including some of his prized New York City commercial real estate holdings, for that $355 million fine. I mean, she said, she and her team will seek judgment enforcement mechanisms in court, and they will ask the judge to seize his assets. That kind of tells you everything that she's thinking, right? I mean, the state attorney general added that, she's not going to shy away from going after Trump's famed 40 Wall Street high rise or any of his other prime New York City properties if he can't come up with the money to cover these big, huge, whopping fines. And she even went on to say that, she looks at Trump's 40 Wall Street building each and every single day. That almost sounds like you kind of hating on him. Like, are you hating on Donald Trump's success? Is that what this is about? I mean, I thought it was just about I don't know. Is it that he really did some crimes? I mean, did anyone get hurt? Is this about, stopping Trump from being able to campaign and possibly taking over the presidency again in 2024? I mean, what's this really about? Anyway, but this is why Trump says that James is like a communist attempting to destroy New York State by fining him $355 million. Trump even went on so far as to argue on Truth Social, on one of his posts, that the fine, which came as a result of James' business fraud lawsuit against the ex-president, is basically, and his companies, it was unconstitutional. I mean, his exact words, this communist is looking to destroy New York State with her unconstitutional fine of hundreds of millions of dollars on a perfectly legal gotten and fully repaid loan. The banks got their money back. The lenders got their money back with interest. No one got screwed. No one got hurt. So the $355 million or $450 million, where's that money going? Like, you can't pay victims because there aren't any. So who's getting that money? I mean, are they going to just funnel the $450 million to the illegal migrants that are infiltrating New York City? Or is it going into somebody's pocket or somebody's pockets? I don't know. Anyway, so Trump's post was accompanied by an extreme, it wasn't that extreme. It was about a 1-minute video featuring clips of Letitia James speaking out against the former president. And some of these moments included the attorney general calling Trump crazy and her pledging to fight any attempt to bring Trumpism to New York City. And about that, that part about New York, well, it does actually seem to have an effect on New York business. I mean, for one, you got multimillionaire real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary saying he won't be pouring any new money into loser New York after this ruling on Donald Trump. So Kevin O'Leary, he issued his warning to other real estate investors following the decision by Judge Arthur Engeron that Trump and his oldest sons lied about his wealth, inflated the value of his assets. I'm sorry, y'all. And basically said that he's shocked at this and that there's no rationale for it. And Kevin O'Leary is not the only investor, real estate developer that's not willing to put any new money into projects into New York. Grant Cardone's another one. And there are so many others that are probably lesser known real estate developers and real estate investors that are just like, hey, we're not putting any more money here. This is high risk. And if you know anything about investors, investors don't like risk. So anyway, Kevin O'Leary went on to share, how he heard from his peers in the business world who have pledged to shun New York which according to him was already at the top of the list of being a loser state to begin with. So he went ahead and declared that he would never invest in New York, not now, and that he's not the only person saying this. Gail Strong, thank you so much for the huge super chat this morning. I really do appreciate you. How many of you guys like Mr. Wonderful? Big Paulie likes Mr. Wonderful. He loves Mr. Wonderful, in fact. Let's see. Elizabeth S. says, would love Kevin to come to Texas. No state tax here. Gun ownership is very easy. Low cost of living. And Abbott signed a no sanctuary law. Thank God. Wow. So how many of you guys would prefer to live in a state where there's no state income tax and you can own guns legally in the state? Drop me some comments. Let me know what you guys think about that. Because New York is not about having low taxes. New York definitely does have a state income tax. Yeah. And New York will not allow you to own guns pretty much almost under any circumstance. But anyway, so Trump praised, but of course, you know, all the bad guys can have guns. But anyway, so Donald Trump praised Kevin O'Leary, writing on his Truth Social account that Kevin O'Leary is basically a great guy and tells it like it is. But then after that, the former president, he predicted that businesses will flee New York City and the state of New York after the corrupt judge's ruling. Now, at this point, I think it's pretty clear, you know, how this whole Letitia James case against Donald Trump's making a massive impact on New York, and it's not good. It's not good at all. In fact, you know, it's very clear that the situation is multifaceted. You know, it's got a lot of issues regarding free speech, political persecution, political witch hunt, the ethical use of campaign funds. I mean, all of it is you know, it's just kind of like this is what's dividing America as we speak. But I want to go ahead and jump on the comments and see what you guys are saying, because I mean, this stuff is wild, you guys. What are y'all thinking, yo? What are y'all thinking? So let's see. So we got, what's going on? We got Katalia in the house. We got West. We got Big Paulie, Johnny Doe, Gail Strong in the house. We've got Caramel Coated Cutie. Let's see. I'm Lurking. Shark Tank Dude is cool. Gail Strong says Kevin is right, and me on living. Let's see. People resent that they're considered DEI. They get pretty jealous and mean, according to K. Scott. Yeah, and I think Letitia James may fall into that DEI category. Let's see. Gail Strong's trying to get out of California. Oh man, California's got some problems. New York and California, those are probably the top two loser states in terms of how they're managed. Like, New York and California have some very good things going for them, but how these states are managed, that's what makes them awful places to want to be. You know, it's like, wow, like, what are y'all doing? You know, Gavin Newsom with the homeless problems over in California. I was just seeing how human waste is being found on the beaches, because they got basically, you know, people living on the beaches and just taking a, you know what, wherever they happen to be. So you can't even enjoy the beaches. And, you know, I mean, if you got homeless people living on the beaches, if they're, you know, doing any kind of drug stuff, you might walk through the sand and step on a needle or something. Like, that would be awful. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? Anyway, craziness going on here. But yeah, Katalia says she's jealous of Trump's success. I could see it. You know, some people get a little bit butthurt because others are winning. Not cool. You know, I mean, I think people should look at others who are winning and say, hey, if he did it, this is great inspiration. Let me learn from him and see how he did it so I can do it too, if that's of interest. Why hate on someone because they're doing well, right? Let's see. Mr. Task. Let's Let's see. Okay, so the white knuckler says, waiting for the pendulum to swing the other way. It's only a matter of time. So Stephen Crisp said, she ain't getting nothing. Big Paulie says, full-blown witch hunt. I mean, it is what it is. But I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you guys for dropping a like for the video. If you haven't already, if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you really want to show your support for the channel, definitely share this video on Facebook and Twitter. I totally appreciate you guys' support. And I'm going to see you on the next one. Y'all be